There's going to be some great players coming across. I just want to touch on something before we come back to Liv. As of right now, Scottie's just won that event. Now, Scottie's 2024 is in the books, guys. Christ.
Yeah, I'm going to go on mute because I'm not going to talk about Scottie Scheffler any more than I already have. Right. I'm done with him. I'm done with Scottie Scheffler. I'm done with everything on the PGA Tour.
All right,
I'm just going to abstain from this conversation.
Fine. 21 events, Red.
Mm-hmm.
9 wins, 9 top 10s, and 3 other results. It's just insane.
It is. I mean, and the most impressive thing is he's doing it through putting changes, putting struggles, putting grip change, which, I didn't really get to watch a lot. I wasn't that interested in watching the Hero. For what it's worth, I think it's great that they put this together, and it's a halfway decent tournament, but just didn't really draw my attention. And, it seemed to be working though. I mean, 25 under any golf course, that's still
and a good showing from a guy I really like, and I like the spunk and I like the attitude of him. I like Tom Kim. He's a player I'd love to see on Liv. He's a player that would be great to see. Just because I like the way he is, like his firiness. I think he'd be really good and in the Ironheads alongside Kevin Na and his guys. Now, Jay, if you're not going to speak about Scottie Scheffler, you can't also jump in on this one. Every so often, I like Justin Thomas. I like watching Justin Thomas play. I think he's a good golfer. It does seem like the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour media was desperate for Justin Thomas to do well this week. Like sometimes you can get these feelings like they're just trying to push an athlete, like they're trying to the LeVar Ball with the Ball family. Like he used the phrase when he got his boy signed to the Lakers. I'm going to speak into existence.
Yeah,
I love that phrase.
You
went away for Scottie Scheffler.
No, because the two things relate. The two things relate. And we have to be honest about the PGA Tour and what it's become. A lot of the alpha males that would challenge Scottie are not there anymore. Let's just call it what it is. Even someone like Rory, not in the Hero. You look at this list of guys in the Hero, the golf media, of course they want some of these guys to step it up because the PGA Tour is not interested. It was already getting to the point where it's not that interesting. It is really not that interesting if Scottie Scheffler is the only guy winning big tournaments on the PGA Tour. And that's unfortunately exactly where we're at. This is a worst case scenario for the PGA Tour. You have this great player, this great talent that's winning everything, whose personality, let's be honest, is not exactly the most dynamic. He's not Bryson. He's not Rory. He's not Tiger. He's not any of these guys that can sort of elevate the entire tour. It'll be interesting to see if that's something he's able to mature into. I don't think that's something he's going to mature into, though. I think who he is now is who he's going to be, which is fine. Except I just don't think that he alone through his play can elevate the PGA Tour. And I think the more he wins, the lesser the PGA Tour becomes. That's where we're at now.
I think it's a huge problem for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, not allowing other names to kind of elevate themselves and make a name for themselves because they're being overshadowed by having, they're lucky to get second or third when Scottie's in the field. And then another huge thing, too, is if Scottie keeps on this tear, he's going to kind of tank the betting markets. And you take that away, it's a huge problem for the tour. I mean, I have people who I'm familiar with on Twitter commenting I guess I'm not going to bet on golf anymore. And to, put that with how much golf you're watching in a lot of these different aspects, I mean, it's going to be an issue unless he's so clutch that you're always going to bet on him and it's Scottie against the field. Other markets become, one that's popular now and becoming more popular is without Scottie is, how you bet. And because Scottie's going to win, so you now bet who's going to come in second. But it impacts the interest you have in these events when, somebody's so dominant. And I think he doesn't, to Jay's point too, I don't think he carries the same swag and joie de vivre that Tiger had when he was at his A game. So it just,
Scottie's a shucks good old boy, isn't he? he's religious. He's very faithful to his wife and his new child. And that's
I don't want to jinx. I don't want to jinx relationships. It's
no,
one of those things.
But look, what I'm saying is they seem to have a very wholesome relationship. Seem very happy. He's got the new child. Everything seems great. It seems that way, and hopefully it is that way. But he seems to play his golf and leave. Whereas Tiger did have that swagger about him. He had that look about him. Look, it's that people compared Tiger and MJ for a reason. And I don't mean Michael Jackson, I mean Michael Jordan. people compared Jordan and Tiger for a reason. And that's because they both had that steel, that grit, that look about them. Like people, I remember ages ago, someone was saying about how they're comparing Phil Ivey to Tiger Woods. Phil Ivey, the famous poker player, because Phil Ivey had that steel about him. He had that edge about him in a different way. Like in poker,
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, Lewis
Hamilton, and
more so Michael Schumacher for those that are old enough to remember Michael Schumacher. But you can look at players. You've got what I call like the talented players in different sports that had a bit more about them in a different way. Like you can.
Yeah, they had an identity. I think it's identity.
But then the identity has to be something different. So you can look at poker again. You got Daniel Negreanu, got a very different identity. Like he's got personality. Phil, different identity and personality. Alongside Phil, you could have someone like Larry Bird, or you. Do you mean you can put in someone whatever else it might be, Magic Johnson? Yeah. But Scottie doesn't fit into any of those. I really like Scottie. He's a nice guy, and I think he speaks quite well. But he doesn't have that charisma. What the kids call it, riz. Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm 42. But
I've already gone through this with a bunch of people. He's not. He doesn't have star quality, and there's nothing that anybody can say that's going to change it.
He has star quality as a player, but not the other elements. Because on the course is one element of it.
He's a great player. He can very well turn into a historically great player. He's a star golfer. That is completely different than what we're talking about. Having star quality, having this identity that transcends the sport, that can elevate the tour and elevate the sport. It's just not something that he has, and it's not something that he's ever going to have. I mean, that's totally fine. Like, I don't have any problem with Scottie Scheffler. I've said this a million times, but it's like, if that is your main guy, your tour is not gonna reach its potential. That's just how it is, and it's totally fine. But it's like I see a lot of these players, like you talk about Scottie Scheffler in the media, and it's like they're already conceding that like he's the best player, and it's like I want guys that are going to be like, no, I think I can beat him on a regular basis, and like I'm going to do everything that I can to beat his ass. Yeah, and I haven't heard anybody say that. There's nobody on the PGA Tour saying that.
We'll hear it from Bryson and Brooks.
With the Showdown coming up? Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no way they're going to step in.
Also, the Showdown, look, don't get me started on how difficult that is to view in the UK.
Well, yeah, the timing. It's starting pretty late.
The time's shit. It's 11 o'clock at night. It tees off, right? So that's
going to be great for West Coast, but yeah.
But also, on top bit, teeing off at 11 o'clock, it's a fucking school night, isn't it? It's a work day.